Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 211 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself. We have Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, quite a bit. E3 is among us, and oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, this has been an interesting last few days. Currently
Yeah.
recording on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
so we're trying to get as much content out to you guys listening as possible. And for those new listeners who are out there and have not heard our podcast before heading into E3 stuff, welcome. You're gonna enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. Always a good time. So if you listen to the Wednesday show we did a couple days ago, um, things changed. Obviously, we said we were going to do a release show Saturday night with the EA press conference talk. We were going to release one Sunday night with Microsoft and Bethesda. Monday night would be Ubisoft and Sony, and then Tuesday would be Nintendo. Um, Things changed. Obviously, like I said, EA didn't have a lot, so we just figured we'll just bundle it in with Microsoft and Bethesda. And then the article that we looked at, and it was actually an article from a bigger video game site, had listed all the times for the press conferences, said 7 p.m. Pacific time for Bethesda, and that's actually
Yep,
wrong. It's 9 p.m. Pacific time, and I'm on vacation, but Gables has got to be up early in the morning. So
exactly.
there ain't no way he's going to be up till after 11 o'clock in the morning watching a press conference and wanting to record a podcast. So what we're doing, we're changing it all up. We're going to do EA Microsoft right now. Then tomorrow we'll come at you with Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Sony. So that is what the plan is for right now. Things might change again, but it shouldn't. And then Nintendo will be by itself on Tuesday, like what we originally planned. So you just want to go ahead and we'll just hop into EA's press conference now? All right, cool. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through everything that was said, and then we'll kind of jump back and we'll talk about the things that stood out, things that are interesting, things we're intrigued by, disliked, whatever. Um, First off, they started with a band, a drum line coming out with all wearing Tom Brady jerseys, and we got a 45-second story trailer, no gameplay or anything for the what they're calling Madden 18 Long Shot, which is the story mode that they're putting in Madden this year. No gameplay for the game, nothing else but that. About 45-second teaser or so. Next up, they talked a lot about Battlefield 1, and they had a huge long montage of Twitch streamers showing off crazy moments playing multiplayer for Battlefield 1 online. And then they announced there's going to be a new map coming in June, and then another one in July, and then I'm assuming the big final, map pack in September for Battlefield 1. Next up, they announced that they're having the largest FIFA competition for esports in their history this August. So if you're interested in that, that's a thing. FIFA 18 trailer, and then Alex Hunter, which was the FIFA had a story mode for their game last year, and they're bringing back the kid Alex Hunter from the first game from last year's into this year, and that's going to go on from there. I didn't play it, so I don't know anything about it. Next up, we had these awful men's with Blazers guys come out and try to be funny. They're a big soccer host for something. I don't know. They came out and they were terrible. Then we had Need for Speed Payback was showing off some gameplay trailer for that. I think that's coming out sometime in October. They didn't really say release date, but I know it's been announced. Next up, they had a game from the creators of Brothers. Announced a game, not announced, it's been shown before, but it's a game called A Way Out. We got a trailer, and then we got a gameplay trailer showing it co-op game. Only do couch or online. Two guys trying to break out of a prison. And that's coming out early 2018. Next up, they had a slight little teaser of a game called Anthem. It is BioWare's new IP, and they were gonna show the gameplay for the first time at the Microsoft press conference, which we will talk about later. Getting tired here. NBA Live 18. They actually talked about it. They showed some like slow motion replay stuff, and they talked about some like you can play on the streets and do like 3v3, or you can do regular mode 5v5 NBA basketball in an arena, but they didn't show any gameplay or anything. That game was supposed to be out in March, and they have no gameplay yet for that. Next up, they showed a story trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they announced all the extra content, maps, characters, DLC, everything will be free, no season pass, and then it ended with a 20-30 minute long multiplayer match showing off the game. And then also there will be a beta for Battlefront 2 this fall for anybody that pre-orders the game. Whew, I'm out of breath. So, Gables, what did you think of the press conference?
The press conference in general, I did not like too much. I mean, it's more or less was focused upon their core demographic that they are focused on. You know, the sports gamers, the ones that are going to be playing instrumental like sports games every year, FIFA, Madden. It is kind of interesting to see that Madden is going to story mode. I must have drifted off a bit while that was being announced, because I was watching Giant Bomb's stream of the event and stuff, and I didn't really hear anything in terms of like story mode details. But I felt the EA press conference, it just really wasn't too interesting, other than like a couple of content stuff, like for Battlefield 1, the map pack stuff. I think that's pretty cool. A Way Out was probably one of the biggest highlights of that conference, because it's from the makers of like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and stuff. And the co-op thing, that's what's kind of interesting about this game. I liked this game the most because of how seamless it looks like your co-op experience is. It's like no matter if you're playing couch, like on the couch with a friend or something, or online with somebody, it looks like a genuine co-op experience type of game from the get-go.
Yeah.
And the story actually doesn't seem that bad either. I think that's going to be a surprise hit, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that one real quick. I like the fact they actually show, like, so it's always split screen with the two characters, and it'll actually, like, it'll move the screen over to, like, more, so, like, the character on the left, he's taking up about 80% of the screen if something is actually happening more important on his end. So you're always, both characters are always doing something. Like, one will be in a cutscene, the other one could be actively playing the game. That seemed really cool. Good first showing, really, for that game, because we had a teaser a couple years ago, and that was all it was. But go ahead.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I liked some bit of the gameplay for the Battlefront 2 stuff by EA. I kind of liked the aspect of going and doing the aerial dogfights with the spaceships. And it was kind of funny seeing like all the seeing all the random crashes with the spaceship stuff. Like at one point during the footage, the dude actually crashed into the freaking building. So,
yeah, I saw that
on accident. That was pretty fun to watch. But other than that, though, the other gameplay stuff looks pretty standard. It looks like it's naturally evolved from the original Battlefront, which lacked content to begin with. But it looks like there's enough depth to where there's a lot of player variety. There's a lot of other types of game modes. And they're going to be supporting it with, like, was it free DLC? I think?
Yep, everything's free. No season pass.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty nice improvement, considering that most of their content was locked behind the season pass for the original one.
Yeah.
That was a heavy critique of the original Battlefront that they released a few years ago. So, out of a scale of a 1 to 10, I kind of rated EA's like around a 6 out of 10, because they had plenty of content that was appealing to their fan base, but at the same time, there wasn't too many surprises inside of their entirety. However, there were a few gems from that Need for Speed footage, which kind of looked all right and stuff. It has some tidbits of what you would see from like a Burnout game, but A Way Out was definitely the highlight for me. And then the Battlefield 1 content, that looked cool.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool. That's going to be something that may eventually I could pick up Battlefield 1 for the PS4, possibly. But yeah, that's how I stand on it. What did you think, Tyler?
Kind of the same, but I think is how everybody's feeling with it. Disappointed, obviously, being the big Madden fan as I am. This is the first one they're actually using the Frostbite engine in, and it's been fairly well known. Like a lot of the games, the first time they use the Frostbite engine because it's EA's big engine. Games the first time don't really work all that well because it's a fairly new engine and it was built mainly for first-person shooters. And Mass Effect Andromeda, that game was made on the Frostbite engine and it ran like crap and it still has issues with it. I think the Need for Speed game, one of the last ones that came out for it, had a lot of issues with it. So I wanted to see some gameplay and see how it looked because I am curious because the Frostbite engine is really, really, really pretty. But sometimes the games don't run as well. So hoping to see some gameplay for that, but I am excited for the trailer or the story mode in the trailer. seemed pretty cool. I'm curious to see what how deep this goes. Battlefield 1 stuff. I actually completely forgot I owned that game. I got it digitally like 6 months ago, and so that's cool. There's some more map packs things come out for it. I've never even played the online mode. I did on the Xbox One a couple times when it first came out, but I played it on my PS4. So yeah, that's cool for people that are interested in that, and it's glad they're still getting some support for it. Don't give a shit about the FIFA stuff. Men's with Blazer stuff that was terrible. Like I said, the Need for Speed Payback gameplay bit we got. I know it's probably all streamlined and it's scripted and all that. Still look pretty sweet though. I think that could be kind of cool. I'm not a big racing fan guy. I also like Mario Kart and stuff, but like I think that looked kind of like it could be fun. It was like Fast and the Furious, but the video game, which I could be down with that. I love Fast and Furious, so if I get a video game equivalent of that.
Which kind of surprises me. Which kind of surprises me, Tyler, that you never even like attempted to play that Forza Horizon 2 like DLC thing that was on the Xbox One for Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I didn't have an Xbox One when it came out. I know I can go back and buy it, but I just haven't got around doing that.
It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty great, so I need to check it out. A Way Out was definitely the game of the show for EA. That, like we already talked about, that looks absolutely incredible. The only thing that sucks is it's not out now because I would I would drop well, and the fact that it's co-op only could be concerning for me. If you don't have someone to play with, I don't know how you just hop on with online a random person online, like a journey type thing. Like, do you need how long is this game? Because if it's, I imagine it's not going to be much more than like a 3, 4, 5 hour experience kind of thing.
Oh no, this kind of looked like something that was going to take a while to beat.
Yeah, so I hope it's not like if it's a 20-hour game and you have to do one person playing this game together, that can be kind of tough to do. But yeah, I mean overall looked really cool. The new BioWare IP Anthem teaser trailer, nothing really. It was exciting to see because this is Casey Hudson's new game, which he's the lead that made the original Mass Effect trilogy.
Yep.
So this is their first game they've done since Mass Effect 3. So it is interesting to. We finally got a glimpse of what this game is. NBA Live that 18 that was pointless. They literally showed they almost literally showed nothing. There was almost no point. There was really no point in that thing being there. Battlefront 2, I'm pretty much in for. They said all the right things. Like they listened to the fans. They showed a bunch of tweets, talked about over and over again, and even the CEO of EA came out and basically said like, yeah, we've dropped the ball on it. And they said it a while ago about how they dropped the ball on it, and there was things they regret doing with that. But it seemed like the season pass, getting rid of the season pass stuff, that seemed like a make good. I'm curious how many maps are going to be out there at launch, and also story mode. If that's good, I'll be happy. I'll probably I might not buy it at launch, but I might pick it up around launch, depending on what people say about the story mode.
Right.
But I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 if we're doing halves here. I think I liked it a little more than you just because I like Madden. And A Way Out was incredible. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a pretty much more likely going to buy that than not. So not a terrible conference, but as far as what you're used to from E3 conference, it was pretty lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a deep breath here. All right, moving on to Microsoft. So this one had a lot more announcements going on. It was, I think, almost twice as long as EA's was. So came out right off the bat with Scorpio is now called the Xbox One X, which I'm calling XXX because there's 3 X's in it. If you don't get that, coming out November 7th, and it'll have true 4K in it. And there's a bunch of big words and things that I didn't quite understand. It's something about teraflops and GBs per second or something. I don't know. It sounded really impressive. All Xbox One games work with the X, and it will enhance older games. And there was a handful of games they announced will have 4K patches coming later down the line for like Gears of War 4, I think Halo Wars, Minecraft, a few other ones. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Gears 4.
Gears 4, yep. It is the smallest Xbox ever, and it's they announced at the end of the press conference, but it's $500. Forza Motorsport 7 showed that off. Looks really pretty. Comes out October 3rd. They said there'll be 42 games shown during this press conference. 22 will be exclusive. Next up, Metro Exodus got a trailer for that coming out 2018. Assassin's Creed Origins, so the rumors were true, got a trailer, and then they showed some alpha gameplay, as they called it. There's some RPG mechanics, and there's an eagle that'll actually like mark things on your maps, enemies on your maps, things like that. And coming out October 27th. Then next up, PlayerUnknown's Battleground, the biggest thing going on Steam right now, will be coming out exclusive to Xbox One this year. So that's going to be coming out. No other. They showed a little trailer for it, but nothing else other than that. The console launch. I'm gonna say these differently because there's a big difference. So all throughout the the press conference, they were showing like world premiere or Xbox
console exclusive.
Console exclusive or Xbox launch console launch exclusive. So the difference between console launch exclusive and console exclusive is that launch exclusive means it's timed. So that means it's coming to PS4 eventually, but we don't know when. No details about that. So first up on that I'm going to try to preface those. I think I caught them all, but I could be wrong. But console launch exclusive, Deep Rock Galactic was shown off. We got like a teaser, no gameplay. Don't really know what that is. State of Decay 2 coming out spring of 2018. We got a trailer with no gameplay in it. It is a survival zombie game. Console that State of Decay is the actual exclusive to Xbox. Console launch exclusive, the Darwin Project. It's a cartoony graphics game that seems like it's a battleground like game where it's just last man survives. Next up, Minecraft is getting a 4K update this fall. Then they showed Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's a fighting game coming out in early 2018. Console launch exclusive, Black Desert Online. It's an MMO RPG that comes out early 2018. It looks kind of like a Final Fantasy 14-esque type of game. Next up, console launch exclusive, The Last Night. It is a cyberpunk futuristic game. Side scroller looks like, not a lot shown on that. Next up, console launch exclusive, The Artful Escape. It's a side scroller and a guy's playing the guitar. I look crazy. I don't really, not a lot shown on that either. We just got a lot of in a row here. There's a lot of games that were shown with like 30 to 40 second teasers, and that's it. Next up, Code Vein. It is a Bandai Namco game. Coming out early 2018. It looks kind of like a Dark Souls-esque type of game. Then we got some gameplay shown of Sea of Thieves. That's coming out early 2018. Console, that's actually is exclusive for Xbox One. Console launch exclusive, Tacoma is coming out August 2nd to Xbox One. No word yet on PS4. Then there's an exclusive game coming to Xbox called Super Lucky's Tale. It is a 3D platformer. It comes out November 7th, and it wasn't announced there, but it was actually... This is like a small kind of like $30 game you get like digitally only. It is actually a full $60 title, and that launches with the Xbox One X. Next up, Cuphead finally got a release date that is exclusive to Xbox One. Comes out September 29th. Then we got exclusive console exclusive Crackdown 3 comes out November 7th. No gameplay shown, but another trailer. Then there's a montage of like a dozen games. Not enough to really even talk about any of those. Then there was a launch exclusive game, Ashen. It's like a weird side-scrolling game. All the people have no faces. It's really weird. But looks kind of cool. Life is Strange Before the Storm, out August 31st. It's a 3-episode thing. This is not the sequel to Life is Strange. This is a side team that is working on this. So Life is Strange. This is not Life is Strange 2, which they announced a few weeks ago as a thing. Next up, they showed a bunch of gameplay for Shadow of War, the Middle Earth, the sequel to what is that fucking game called?
Shadow of Mordor.
Thank you. The sequel to that, that's coming October 10th. Then the console exclusive, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. No release date, nothing shown, just a guy playing a piano with a really sweet looking trailer with no gameplay. Then they announced that they're bringing OG original Xbox games will be playable on the Xbox One via backwards compatibility. That launches later this year. No word if it's going to be like you have to buy them digitally or you can put it in the disc or anything like that. And then last up, they showed a fairly long gameplay trailer for Anthem. It's a co-op third-person shooter game. It's coming out in 2018. Whew. So overall, so my big thing actually is anything that kind of like made you want to get an Xbox One X, pick up the Xbox One again, anything that like stuck out to you as Microsoft kill it this year.
I know, that's kind of a tough one right there. Because one of the main reasons why I don't have an Xbox One at this current state of time is because there hadn't been enough first-party exclusives that have really sank itself into me to where I want to play them. I mean, I have went through the whole rigmarole and stuff, but if there was anything that was really close in hand or something like that, that Ori game, The Will of the Wisp, probably was like somewhat close to what I may want to play, because the thing about Ori and the Blind Forest, the first game, it was released on the Xbox One store and PC. It's a Metroidvania-style game that's really artistically pleasing looking, and it has some great gameplay stuff. But, let's see. Other than that, though, I mean, oh man, there really wasn't too much, personally, that appealed to me of why I need to invest inside of an Xbox One, especially after this press conference. Now, granted, all of the stuff that Microsoft presented really appealed to its core audience and a lot of people who have grown up playing the Xbox, the original Xbox, the 360, and stuff like that. But for me personally, I have no nostalgia for the original Xbox. I never owned it. I never played games like Crimson Skies originally. I didn't play Halo up until I got an Xbox 360. I only played Halo, Halo 2, and maybe a handful of other games that were compatible at the time. Jade Empire was one, Knights of the Old Republic, but even so, it's that aspect of some that, while I appreciate that you can play, original Xbox games and stuff like that, it's not really an incentive for me to go and just pick up an Xbox One X, personally.
Yeah.
But in terms of conference things themselves, I think Microsoft conducted themselves rather well, because they showed game after game after game. They have a concrete console to where they feel like is most appropriate to what is appropriate for their user base. They basically have a premium version of their Xbox One S, and then they have the other Xbox One S for the people who probably have not picked up one yet, or if they're on the fence about upgrading their original Xbox One model, which, to be perfectly honest, I don't understand why somebody still owns an original Xbox One, considering that
I bought one 4 months too early, okay?
But my point being is, they have options in place to where if a consumer, if they have never bought an Xbox One, they got this experience and stuff where if they want to buy something that's higher end, here's the Xbox One X and stuff to where they can do the 4K native gaming. They got their whole thing for if the consumer wants to invest in a 4K TV. They got all these random free updates and stuff to up-res certain games into 4K compatibility, like their main type of content that they had released last year, like Gears of War 4 and stuff. Let's see. Other than that, though, what really stood out to me inside this conference was a few games. Only a few of the games right here. Let's see, which one was... what was the last one that they showed? Anthem. Anthem by BioWare, I thought, was the main game which I actually felt like was well done, and that probably was the most appealing in terms of... that whole press conference, to be perfectly honest, because even though they showed games like Crackdown 3, they only showed a trailer of the game itself. They didn't really show too much of gameplay-wise. With Anthem by BioWare, the game looks relatively interesting. I mean, there were some scripted events that played out, but at the same point, I'm interested in seeing more of the game come out. Is this game, exclusive to its system?
Which game?
Anthem. Yeah.
No, it's cross-platform.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, that actually is... wow, thinking about that right now and stuff, I thought that thing was going to be a console exclusive because of how much of an emphasis that the EA placed upon showing the game upon the Microsoft's press conference and stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, basically there was that rumor going around we talked about a month ago. The big third-party exclusive they picked up. It seems like it turned out to be PlayerUnknown's Battleground. That's the big exclusive game they picked up.
Oh man, that's disappointing. But I'll tell you what, man, it's I'll tell you what, Tyler, there were a bunch of like crazy little moments that kind of like put me off too, dude. It's like, you know, that Darwin game that they were kind of playing, like that was sort of a competitive game. The whole trailer is all serene and stuff. You're doing this, all of a sudden they have an announcer just like yelling and like doing all this shit like it's a commentator. I was just watching reactions like the Giant Bomb guys, and they're literally like, "What's going on right now?" It was really confusing.
Yeah,
and I felt really confused watching. It's like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, that whole part was, I don't know. Yeah, so out of 10, what do you think you'd give it?
Okay, personally, what I would give the conference itself, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I thought that Microsoft did really well in emphasizing the game content for their new Xbox console coming out. They issued a lot of the complaints that gamers have had in terms of fidelity and in terms of what they personally want to have in their gaming system. They got 4K gaming. They got up-res type of content, free DLC stuff. I mean, it does open the possibility of like a third-party company possibly having a consumer pay possibly for an update to that specific thing. But the option's there. Although, the one thing I did not really like is, and I've called this too, is the name of the new Xbox. I knew the name was going to be dumb. But Xbox One X, that is a confusing name, to be perfectly honest. It's this. I compare it more or less the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo Wii U, and here we have a console in this day and age and stuff where we already have 2 Xbox One variations: the original Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and if you want to count the original Xbox, I mean that's pretty much like 3 different types of systems that sound almost alike, and then all of a sudden you have the Xbox One X. I mean, a consumer is going to go into the holiday season this coming Christmas, their child's going to ask, "Oh, hey, I want the new Xbox that came out." And you know what's going to happen? They're going to buy the cheapest one because they don't know the difference between the S and the X.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Or they'll buy on the X when when they just want the S and they can't. Yeah. I echo a lot of the same thoughts as you. I think the price point is it's a little tone deaf. I understand, like, this is a super expensive piece of equipment they're selling.
Yeah.
But we just went through this 4 years ago with them, with the $500 with the Xbox One and that crash and burn on them.
I literally saw the price of the console, like, no,
no,
I'm not paying $500 for that.
Yeah, and like on paper, if you like reading all this stuff out, if I didn't explain anything, just said the names of the titles, really good show. Amazing show. But then you break it down. It's like, okay, Metro. I'm so fucking excited for that game. I did a fist pump because I love those games. Non-exclusive. Assassin's Creed Origins, non-exclusice. PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Huge game right now. It's like the biggest thing going gaming-wise. But we see these games all the time on on Steam. Like, we went through this couple years, like for like years, like when they announced the Xbox One, DayZ and H1Z1 were the big streaming and Steam games, and those just come out in like 2014. We haven't heard anything about those games, and I'm not saying that's gonna happen with Battleground, but who's to say this thing's gonna be a big deal in 4 to 6 months if it does in fact come out this year for the Xbox One? It's only been out for a few months on Steam, so State of Decay 2. That game's not coming out until spring 2018. Then there's a lot of people that like that game. I'm not saying it's a bad game or thing. Like, you look at a lot of these games they announced as exclusives, I think really only like Battleground, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, and Crackdown 3 are the 4 that are exclusives. Oh, and I'm sorry, that's Super Lucky Tale 5. And only 2 of those are coming out this year. So you're coming out with this new piece of hardware, and the 2 biggest games you have coming out this year are Super Lucky Tale, which looks like a decent, maybe third 3D platformer that would be kind of fun for, like I said, $20-$30. It's $60 fucking. Fuck you! I'm not paying. That is insane to me.
Super Lucky Tale is $60.
Yeah, that is insane to me. I thought that was like, oh, that could be a cool little $20 game I'd pick up on digitally on the store.
Dude, This is a game that was remade and scrapped away from a VR game.
Yeah, it was an Oculus game, and they reconfigured it to be a regular game. And then Crackdown 3, their biggest game coming out this year, November 7th, no gameplay shown.
Wow,
Nothing.
no gameplay shown at all. That concerns me deeply.
Yeah. It was a 3-minute video, and 2 of those minutes was Terry Crews, which I love Terry Crews, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but,
Terry Crews is awesome in that.
Yeah. I love like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I love all those movies he's in. But yeah, that was like, okay. Like, we have seen nothing for that game in like 2 years, and come out and you show us nothing. It was just kind of like, if you're trying to sell me this piece of equipment, like, you didn't do it at all. And like, I have a 4K TV or 4K TV. I had the Pro, but there's a lot of stuff in this press conference I liked, and let me jump on some of the things I liked. Like I said, Metro, Exodius.
Yes.
Fuck yeah! I don't care I don't care if I know it's a scripted gameplay trailer. I'm not buying it because of that trailer. I'm buying it because it's fucking Metro, and I love the Metro games.
Oh yeah,
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Let's go into a little bit of the Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things I liked about it. Like, they took a year off for this game, but then like, okay,
yes.
Cool, going to Egypt, that's cool. The Eagle stuff, where it looks like maybe I'm not going to do 1,000 missions where I'm following a guy for 45 minutes. I could just use this Eagle to fly and follow him for me. That's huge, because that's the worst part about Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
But once it shows some of the gameplay stuff, there's outside the bow and arrow, like, that stuff looks pretty cool, and it looks like they took some things from like the Tomb Raider games and some Uncharted stuff. That stuff's kind of cool, but it looks like an Assassin's Creed game. Which, other than that, like the fighting parts, everything else looks like an Assassin's Creed game. So, I don't know. I mean,
well, here's the thing about it that I gathered away from it. There's a game that I have been playing now for close to around 50 hours called Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, a game that just released this past year. All those elements you saw in that Assassin's Creed trailer, yeah, they're inside this game.
Ubisoft game, makes sense.
Yeah, it's a Ubisoft game, and what they've done in terms of Assassin's Creed Origins, they've took the best part upon some of their other games that they've released in the past year, like, say, Watch Dogs 2, like Wildlands and stuff, their best open world aspects, and they've put it inside Origins here. So in terms of that Falcon that you get that's going to be pinpointing the things, inside of Wildlands, the game I've been playing, it's the drone. You have a drone that actually goes forth, like, labels things like maybe 2 or 3 at a time and stuff, and you press a button in order to take them out in terms of, like, stuff like that.
And Watch Dogs 2 had the exact same thing where you had a drone you could fly around and do the same thing with.
Exactly. Then you have the UI, which is really similar, and then you have, like, the level progression, too. That's new in Assassin's Creed. That's something I've never seen before.
They do have some RPG elements to it, which could be cool, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. If anything, that makes me actually feel like I want to go and buy another Assassin's Creed game, because it's got an open world type of aesthetic where it's kind of unlike the other type of Assassin's Creed games. It totally gives off the vibe that it's not going to be sectioned off into sequence by sequence like how other games in the series have been. This looks like it's going to be a open world style of game where I can go and accomplish things in terms of like each type of individual sort of sectors, and then go forth and complete certain story missions, complete things here and there and stuff. A lot of infiltration stuff. Hell, that actually kind of has me excited to it. I mean, I'm glad I'm wrong about my prediction about the game coming out in 2019. I mean, this looks like it may be solid. I'm actually kind of more excited seeing it, but I'm definitely not going to play it on the Xbox.
No, yeah, that's the thing, especially with that. I'm glad you're excited for it, because like I said, I've talked about Assassin's Creed. I spent a lot of time on this show talking about Assassin's Creed.
Dude, I would not.
Go ahead.
I would not have been even remotely interested in playing this Assassin's Creed game if not for one of my friends turning me on to Wildlands, and then me enjoying Wildlands for what it is right now. I'm highly thinking about platinuming that game.
Damn.
And so if the same elements are inside Assassin's Creed Origins, that actually may be another game that I'm going to be sinking a lot of time in, and I'm actually kind of excited now for that game.
That's good. I'm happy you're happy. Like, I like Assassin's Creed games to a point. There's it definitely was a burnout factor in the last few.
Oh no shit.
Especially with Unity being the way it broken the way it was. I thought the last one was actually pretty good. I can't remember what it's called.
Syndicate.
Syndicate. Thank you. That was pretty good. Like when they're great, they're great. But when they're bad, they're bad. And there's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of pinnacle stuff in the Assassin's Creed series. You got Assassin's Creed 2. I mean, Syndicate would obviously be up there and stuff. Then you have like
4.
games like Brotherhood and like 4 actually with the pirate ship stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics in that game that were just needed to go away, and they kind of relied on some of the same things over again. They never really progressed. Black Flag, they progressed, and they took like 20 steps backwards after that. So I'm hoping that they do, and they change things up, and they evolve what they don't, because I know Ubisoft loves having a lot of the same elements in all their games. So like I love Watch Dogs 2, so I'm hoping that it's good. I mean, I know it's totally different. One's in 5000 BC, one's in 2016 San Francisco. So I know not the same elephants, but I hope they kind of some of the gadgets and things you have work out well. I'm interested with the whole how the Assassin's Creed, the Assassin Templar stuff happened. So that could be cool because there is a decent story there. It's just a lot of bullshit.
I think it's a reboot. So
there's a lot of good stuff.
Honest.
I hope. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it is to a certain point. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. I really am. I want this to be good. It's probably not going to be a day one, especially when day one buy for me, especially with it being smack dab in the middle of the holiday. I think South Park comes out like a week before that.
Really? What was it going to come out on? Like
October 27th is when Assassin's Creed comes out.
Damn. So, okay, that's traditional of the series.
Yeah, it's usually like the last Tuesday or Friday before November. The only thing that really might make a big deal for me is Extra Life is the following week. So that could be my Extra Life game because Black Flag was my Extra Life game a couple years ago. Or 3 years ago, whatever. But yeah, I mean, just kind of moving on down though, like that Darwin project, that game looks bad to me, especially announcing that right after they announced Battleground.
Oh no shit!
Announcing the exact same game, basically game, but this one's wackier and it's cartoon graphics.
They obviously try to make it seem like it was another like Overwatch or fucking Battleborn, you know?
Yeah, but it's just like all the big games everybody's coming out talking about: Metro, Assassin's Creed, The Last Night, Artful Escape, Tacoma. Like all these games are not exclusive.
Yeah,
at all. Ori and the Will and the Wisp, that's another exclusive. There's actually 6 exclusives, but
Cuphead is exclusive. But it's like Cuphead. That one's going to release this year too. We forgot to mention.
They have 7, so not bad, but only 2 of them come out this year. Again, Lucky Tales, that game's probably no one doesn't give a shit about, and that's the knack of the console launch. And then Crackdown 3, which we know we know what the game is in general, but we haven't really seen anything about it. So I think there is a lot of cool stuff in there, but once you break it down, it's pretty bad. Like Anthem looks sweet. That game looks incredible. But
yes,
we've been fooled so many times before. I mean, I've been fooled. I do this to myself every year. There's a game that I get super hyped for, and it comes out, and it's like, that game was not very good. Like, Division was my game of the show 2 years running, and I hated that game when it came out. Look at a game like Watch Dogs, when that game was shown for the first time. That game looked nothing and played nothing like the way it was shown off. I mean,
then there was No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, that thing went on for felt like a generation. We get fooled every year by really cool scripted gameplay. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm not excited because as much as the way it looked, but more just that, like I said, Casey Hudson is behind this game, and I love the original Mass Effect trilogy. Or in the Will of the Wisp. That game is probably badass because Blind Force is a great fucking game. I wish I liked it more and it's not because it's a bad game. Like I said, it's a fantastic game. It's really hard, and it's just I'm not a big Metroidvania guy. So, and Life is Strange Before the Storm, I already pre-ordered that. I bought that. I love Life is Strange, and give me more of it. It's a prequel to it, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. Like I said, but it's just I can get most of that shit somewhere else. And if I have to wait 30 days to get it on my PS4 or whatever, I'll wait. You know,
the number one thing that this conference I feel instilled upon me is I am probably going to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro before I would even attempt to try and even mostly interested in trying to get an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
That's all it did.
Yeah, and the reason I got a pro instead of like why I would get into One X is because my PS4 is my dedicated gaming console.
Yes.
Everybody on this podcast, all four of us that are on this show, not currently, but that host the show, all of us like their PS4 is our main console, and then
Yep.
the Switch is our side bitch. That's what it is.
Side bitch.
Yeah. So and I think half of us, Justin owns an Xbox One. I own an Xbox One. I look at this list and I look at what I can't play anywhere else, and Cuphead's the only reason I'm going to be turning the Xbox One on this year, unless they have something else.
And that was mostly the reasoning why that the Xbox One was pretty much like that's the type of thing that I looked at and stuff when I had the Xbox One and stuff, because I'd be going months at a time not playing because there wasn't that exclusive that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
For months.
Yeah, it worked out like last generation. It worked out great with me being 360 was my main console, and then I had the PS3 as my side bitch then. But it seemed like there was 3-4 big exclusive games coming out every year for that thing. Sometimes, and then like there's big exclusive ones, and then there was like a handful of smaller indie games you could play on there. Yeah. And we're going with this. There's really not outside if you can't wait 30 days. And there's certain games. I mean, I'll probably pick them up on the Xbox One just because if I'm like the last night, I might just pick because that game. Just going off what we saw, I might pick that up on there. But like that, there's no release date for that. Nothing for that at all. Yeah, it was just like I said, it's cool stuff there, but it's like the 22 exclusive games, but most of those aren't actually exclusives. They're timed.
Right.
Which they're very loose terms with that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely excited. Like I said, Metro. That's coming out of this. I mean, what would be your game of the press conference for Microsoft?
The game of the press conference for Microsoft, in my honest opinion, going through looking back on it, I mean, there were plenty of like decent games, but if I had to pick one that may be the most appealing for like the show in general, I think that Anthem probably was the most appealing. It had the most appeal to it. It wasn't an exclusive game yet, but it had enough interest in it to I feel it was probably the most interesting type of game which I would love to actually have some fun with.
Yeah, that's fair. Mine's Metro.
Obviously, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean that's not because of like I said, not because of the gameplay, just because it's Metro.
Yeah, because it's. I can understand the Metro stuff. I mean, that Metro thing actually looks pretty fucking cool. I think the scale of things, like the hierarchy, it's like I have Anthem in number 1, then I like have like Metro probably number 2, then I have Assassin's Creed Origins in like number 3 for my interest factor of the conference and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing 1, 2, 3, be Metro, probably The Last Night, and then The Artful Escape probably be my top 3.
Yeah.
So none of those are exclusives. So yeah.
I thought The Artful Escape kind of looked sort of like abstract, because of how like the thing, how the artistical style and stuff. It kind of it's kind of weird, but who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get into it like. When it does come out. Yeah,
2D side scroller, guy playing a guitar. I don't know. We got like 20-30 second teaser of some gameplay in it, and it looked crazy. But I mean, it was enough. You have my attention. That's what I'll say.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on. I like this a lot more than the EA one, but I'm kind of grading on a curve. I think with this because I think there's way more expectations with Microsoft, obviously with new console and being twice the time. So I'm kind of echoing your thoughts again with the 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
I think we're a lot more to be negative on, but overall there's still a lot of cool stuff shown. And some things to be excited for as a gamer in general. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. So
yes, and what we do have to understand is in correlation to say like the past couple of press conferences that they have and stuff. this was mostly focused directly upon games.
Yeah.
Like it kind of was like with last year's and stuff, where there were some little bits. Like a few years ago, we obviously remember like the reveal of the Xbox One being like TV, movies, TV, and then like
Sports.
little emphasis on games, and you have sports and this and that. But this one felt like it was more cohesive of, okay, here are all the games that we are working on in terms of like exclusives, console exclusives, launch exclusives, and like the third-party stuff. It felt consistent if you were a hardcore Xbox fan in general, but for everyone else that has already the other systems and stuff, it just really didn't do too much at all for them.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I thought I've said before that the last couple, I think this is the third year in a row, I think they've had a pretty good press conference. But unfortunately, I mean, I thought last year I thought theirs was just as good, if not better, than Sony's. But unfortunately, the games are not panning out. Like they look really good in these press conferences. They sound good. The hype is good. But then the games come out and they don't pan out the way they hope for, or the way gamers hope for. And I'm hopeful that changes here.
I hope so.
They have done a good job. Sony found, I think, the perfect E3 formula, where it's just game. Oh, you don't like that game? Well, just wait 20 seconds. Here's another game you might be interested in. And they did the same thing here, where I was having trouble keeping up, typing the stuff out as it was happening, and watching and trying to be like paying attention at the same time. But yeah, I mean, like we've been saying, a lot of good games, but usually Sony has a lot of good games, and a lot of them are exclusive. So, this not so much. Yeah, before we leave, so something weird happened to me earlier after I went to hop on and play Mass Effect Andromeda, because I'm playing that now. I'll talk about sometime probably next week, whatever. But I turned my PSN or PlayStation 4, decided to go into the PSN store and see if I could download Life is Strange Before the Storm, and could, luckily. But when I was doing that, so you know how like on the left side of the screen it'll be like what's new, hot deals, or what's hot and hot deals and whatever. So there I saw two things that stuck out to me. PS4 bundles and best of PS3. So I'm like, that's new. I usually go on the PSN store like almost every day to see what's on there, see anything new, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. So I clicked on best of PS3, and I clicked X, whatever. It panned over, and the screen turned blue for like 3 or 4 seconds, and it just kind of froze. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then it popped up saying this content is currently not available, and it kicked me out of the store. Yeah, so it kicked me out of the store. It took me back to the main screen, my main homepage or whatever. So I went back in the store, and that stuff's gone.
Oh my gosh!
So I don't know if something kind of came out before it's supposed to, or what. That was all. Maybe it could be nothing. I don't know. We'll come back to this tomorrow, and it could be nothing. That could be something.
Whoa! So basically, you went on the PSN store to do the pre-ordering the Life is Strange, and then you saw something that has potentially the best of PS3 on PS4. Yeah,
it's just best of PS3 and then PS4 bundles. I didn't click on PS4 bundles. I just clicked on. I was like, I should probably take a screenshot of this. This looks fishy. And
you should have done that
before I got a chance. Like as soon as before I got a chance, as soon as I even thought to go get my phone, it said currently not available. Kick me out.
Oh man,
could be something. Like I said, we could come back tomorrow. I'm like, holy crap, that was something leaked a little early there. I went on Twitter, see if I was searching for it, see if I can find anything on it. I can't find anything on it, or I Googled it. I can't see if it happened to anybody else. Maybe I'm not searching for the right terms. I don't know. But it could be come back tomorrow, and it was just like a weird glitch. But it's just E3 going on 24 hours before your press conference, and that happens, just a little fishy. So
well, let me ask you something. It was an actual like selectable thing on the left side of the bar, right?
Yep. But just when I selected it, it froze for a few seconds, and it kicked me out. So I couldn't see anything like off to the right side. So yeah,
that's really suspicious, man. I mean, well, let's see. Maybe it's potential like backwards compatibility things for PS3 stuff on the PS4 store.
I hope so. Cross fingers for Metal Gear Solid 4. So yeah, that is kind of the show for the day. We'll be back, like I said, tomorrow talking about Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Sony. So yeah, can't wait for that. But thank you guys for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have a happy E3, and anything can happen in the world of video games.
And don't drink and drive. Bye, guys.
See ya.